Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sportycast Football. We are now on episode 68 of the 343 podcast. And we all said, of course, that all the leagues and things have come to an end. It's the summer break, as we like to say. But not all is, not all is lost. There's some Euro things happening. There's also a lot of the summer of fun. The transfer window is open and things always happen. So in this episode, we are going to discuss some of those transfer rumors, some of those managerial swaps that have taken place, and also we will look forward to the Euro 2024, which starts next week, Friday. A lot of big teams are expected to win it, so it's going to be very interesting, to say the least, to see what happens. So, anyways, with me today, I have AF, how you doing? It's been a while since I've been here. So,
no, it doesn't been so long. It's been like 2 weeks, so
it feels like a
it's
lifetime.
not really a while. But yeah, doing good. Patiently waiting for Ineos to say that they've sacked Erik ten Hag. Going on longer than freaking soap opera from Days of Our Lives. So yeah, I'm just waiting for that news. Meanwhile, it looks like Chelsea's signing Elise. Just like pulling that one out from under us. And I thought this was supposed to be better than the Glazers. Seems like it's Glazers 2.0. But yeah, all things considered, looking forward to Euros. That's all.
You caught me off guard there. They didn't expect to make me laugh like that, to be honest. But that was good. Also, I'm waiting for my thank you, because I was the only one out of the three of us last time to predict that United were actually going to win the FA Cup. So anytime.
Well, the episode before that, I took a bite out of Mubin's optimism, and I said that that's how United's going to get into Europa League, and so I think I should get some sort of kudos for that.
I'll give you all the kudos. You guys have won the title, and Erik and I are still going to get sacked, so you can get everything.
No, he's not going to get sacked. Don't say that. Don't be terrible.
Thanks, Nikita, for your optimism. It's been ages since I've seen you as well. Welcome back. I feel like I need to throw you an icebreaker, but welcome back. How you been?
Thank you, man. Very good, thank you. I've been a bit preoccupied with the tennis, guys. It's been a tennis year, fabulous tennis year. So,
but I'm back. Going out so early.
Oh, bless me. And Djokovic, I love to see it. But no, very stoked. Thanks for having me back. And yeah, excited for like a couple of busy football weeks to come. Should be good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always good when there's another tournament to keep us busy during this summer period. And also joined by Wasim. Wasim, how are you doing?
Good, thanks. Yeah, also looking forward to the Euros. I think it's just so weird that trying to figure out what am I going to do on a Saturday afternoon when there's no Premier League to look forward to. So at least with some cricket, some tennis, and the Euro starting, it's keeping us busy. So it's not too bad. Could have been much worse. So.
That's so true. It's actually a beast at
Africa Protea heartbreak again.
Yeah.
Nah, guys. They're in two different time zones for me to even care at this stage. I'm like, just surprise me.
You're better off, yeah, you're better off.
We'll wait till they get to the knockouts and then we'll worry about the choke then. But we'll start today with you, AF. I want to hear about some transfer news that you have for us. Of course, we know there's been a couple, like you alluded to now, Elise has kind of been hunted by several clubs, I guess, but Chelsea, I mean, the fact that you're telling me that Chelsea is going in for him is kind of a bit of a up and down thing, because last season they took Lavia, they took Caicedo, they took Madueke, they took Nkunku, they took Fernandes, they took all these people. What's his name?
Palmer.
Yeah, Fernandes. Yeah, Palmer as well. So, I mean, with all these players, where's the room for this guy? But anyways, you let me know.
Yeah, no, I'm not really gonna concentrate or focus on Elise that much. It's just like I brought up that point earlier, was the fact that everybody was saying this Ineos regime is going to be better than the Glazers regime, but the people that's supposed to be making footballing decisions are still on gardening leave. from the other club. So Dan Ashworth over at Newcastle and Omar Barada is only starting on the 1st of July at United from City. So who's going to be making these decisions? Who's going to be making the Erik ten Hag decision? Who's like, but nothing's changed. End of story. Nothing's changed, and United are still the same circus that they've been for the last 13 years or whatever, however long it's been. But
you
yeah,
have a trophy, so
yeah, that 2 years, but Jason said it a couple of weeks ago. It's just plasters over some very huge cracks. And I don't want to go into that. I'm going to try to not speak much about United at
I'm
all
sorry,
this
I was
episode.
prompting you there.
So my first transfer story is Conor Gallagher to. It seems like it's either Aston Villa or Spurs. The rumored amount is 50 million. But I mean, last transfer window, we've seen Conor Gallagher. He was put on the transfer market. He looked for a way out, and at the end of it all, they kept him at the club, and he turned out to be one of the better players during the season. And we mentioned both you and I, Riyaz, how underrated he is as a player. And he came through for the team on so many occasions. So it's weird to see him back in this position again. And like, just to step back again to the Lisa thing, they were linked with him sometime in December, January, February, around about that time already. So that means it could have been a Poch buy or a Poch sort of acquisition, or somebody that is looked at. So the fact that they're still going in for him now, like, who's actually making decisions over there? Like, what are they actually trying to do?
fantasy manager,
Because it's a new manager, but same players. And the same goes for Tosin Adebayo as well. He was also looked at like sometime at the end of last year by Chelsea. So was that for Poch's system? Is it somebody that higher up, somebody that's making that decision on what's good for the club? I don't know if there's anybody at the club that knows what's good for the club, but yeah, Elise is definitely somebody. I think he's going to end up at Chelsea, but Conor Gallagher, I really don't know. Like, Villa could do with his services, definitely, for sure. But I'm going to flip the story to you, Riyaz. As a Spurs supporter, is he somebody that you would see in your midfield and somebody that you think could galvanize your team to push forward?
Yeah, actually, I was going to jump in on that because I think it's very interesting transfer for us as well, because we have good midfielders at the moment, right? We have Sa, we have Basuma, we have who's the third one? I'm forgetting about Bentancur. We have three decent midfielders, but it doesn't seem like they can play like the combination of the three is kind of missing for me. Like if we play Bissouma and Sa together, it seems like something's missing. If we play Bentancur and Sa together, something is missing. So, and the big thing about Gallagher that I really like is his off the ball play, is his tenacity off the ball. And I think that is what we really need in terms of how we want to play or how the system works, like how we play in general. So I think having Bentancur, Sa, and Gallagher together as a three would actually be interesting. But then there's no space for Madison. So I would take him because at the end of the day, we need a squad. The issue is currently that we don't have a squad. We have 11 players or something, 12 players, and that's about it. And that's been the problem. So I just think that 50 million is a bit much. He'll probably be worth it, but not for like a person that's not going to start week in, week out. That's my bit of an issue.
That's the transfer market these days, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
the fact that like Cole Palmer went for, sorry,
53, I think.
Mount
was definitely over
67.
67.
67.
Wow. That's
And
a flaming
I mean,
third if I ever saw one.
just to think that Cole Palmer went for 40 is like,
that's crazy.
And I thought that was too much when he went, to be fair.
Yeah, same. And I mean, he just like fed us all some humble pie.
It's that age thing, isn't it? It's that age thing. But I think also
Riyaz,
Villa
like,
No, go.
No, I was just gonna say, like, how I mean Conor Gallagher, right? honest to God, what I believe about him is he's legitimately what Jordan Henderson could have been if he didn't run from his knees or whatever Alex Ferguson said. Like he's literally just like, for me, Jordan Henderson, but like the good version. I think it would be an excellent addition to your squad, honestly. And I think he will look good in white. I mean, if they look good in the kit, they normally perform well.
It's another Brennan Johnson spec, eh? Yeah, but I fully agree. I think I think it will be great. I also think that I think Villa signed Barkley, if that's not over the line yet as well. So I don't think they really need him per se. I just don't want the fight between the two clubs to kind of up his price, which might happen, and then it's going to be like a fight between the two, and we're going to overpay. But I think Gallagher, I'll take him, to be honest. I'll take him in a heartbeat. We've wanted him since last season, and I think he'll be a great addition to the team.
I think he's another player also that sums up FFP, because if you look at it on the whole, Chelsea don't need to actually sell him because he performed well. He was one of the better players, as you mentioned, and he's sort of a homegrown player. But now, because they've spent a gazillion on the other midfielders, they are now forced to sell a homegrown player who makes pure profit. And then by having that pure profit, it eases the tension with regards to FFP. So that's why they're probably going to sell them. So this is like a sort of thing that you probably wouldn't have seen 15 years ago, where English talent is being sold by a club, because normally those were the ones you want to keep so that you can, have enough players if you make Europe and have the homegrown talent covered. So it's quite interesting to see that they are selling him purely because they've made so many expensive signings in the past.
And
Yeah, but it's so sad. That's nuts because you're actually ruining two careers. Elisa was going to sign an 8-year deal and go nowhere at Chelsea. See Caicedo, Lavia. And Gallagher was going to win no trophies for the rest of his career at Spurs. Sorry, that was
Exactly.
me.
I think that was
No,
really
no,
well
that's
said.
I've been gone for a long time, so guys, please forgive me.
Okay, I'll take it on the chin, but it's also a fair statement, so there's nothing I can say about it, really. But AF, do you have another one for us there? I think
let's throw one to Wasim first, and
Okay.
then can round back again.
Okay, so I'm gonna. So the player that I've transfer that could potentially happen, and if it does happen, it will happen in the month of June, is Bruno Guimaraes from Newcastle. There's talk that Arsenal could be interested and Man City. I think Arsenal have made the decision that they wouldn't go for the release clause, which is I think 100 million. So they would only be interested if the price comes down. I think City have reached out to his camp to say what's the thoughts, would he be interested, and just sort of got feelers out to see if it's going to be a possibility or not. Personally, I don't see City going 100 million on one player. I think they generally line their signings up a while before the time. So I think they're normally well planned, and I don't think they would make a rash decision to just buy Bruno. And they don't technically need him because they've got Rodri and Bernardo and all of those other players who would do such a great job for them. So I think he'd be a squad player. He's good enough for them, but I don't think that that City would actually need him. So because of that, I think they would probably opt to go for someone else and not spend 100 million. So that's what I'm hoping, because he's such an important player for us.
Yeah.
But that's a transfer that you're going to have to keep an eye on, because the release clause is only available for the month of June. After June, it expires, and then obviously Newcastle will have more power in saying, listen, we want 100 million, 120, 140, whatever it is. And they can literally just say no to offers, whereas at the moment it's a release clause. If it gets activated, then they have no say. So I think it's quite interesting that he has signed the contract, but said I want a release clause. So why would he do that? Probably because he wants to keep his options open for a top team to come for him. So let's wait and see what happens.
Yeah. So like last season, City wanted Lucas Paqueta from West Ham, but now because he's probably going to be banned for life from football, they're looking for somebody else with a similar sort of skill set. And I mean, Bruno Guimaraes, I mean, he's your best player. and I think that City knows what they'll be getting from him. We also don't know what the outgoings will be at City this window. We do know that they're suing the Premier League. What a shit show that's going to be. And there is a spotlight on them for that 115 charges as well. So you are right. I do agree with you. I don't think that they're going to be spending 100 million on one player. But yeah, in terms of like skill set, I think they are looking for somebody around that like Lucas Paquetá type of spec, and they probably identified Bruno G as that.
Nikita, your
Is there a
thoughts?
chance that they don't? Is there like a chance that they actually just don't spend? With all the pressure and the spotlight being on them, they just don't spend. And let's be honest, it's probably Pep's last season, right? He's gonna miss his friend Jurgen and he's gonna leave. So why invest in Pep when you can kind of take a break, take some heat off yourself, and then kind of go again in a year's time when FFP rules change and they convince another 13 clubs to vote with them for this nonsense suit that they've brought against the Premier League. I mean, we all can kind of see where this is going. So yeah, I think that's kind of my far out take for City this season.
Yeah, I mean, also they have like Mateus Nunes, who's an amazing talent as well, who hardly
Right?
plays games on the bench. So I mean, spending that much, Kovacic hardly plays. He plays, but he hardly plays as well. Similar spec as well, but 100
I heard
million
that
for
Grealish
them, they can't.
is going to leave though. I heard
That
that
might be true.
he's like pushing for a way out or some crap like that.
But then they'll need to bring someone in to like be a sub for Doku, I
Yeah.
guess. And I don't see Grealish going for anything less than, I don't know how much, another 80 million maybe.
He's
So-
nuts, man. He's just nuts. He's now made his bed and now he wants his cake also in bed. I'm just like, get a grip. You should
That's
never
fair.
have gone for 100 in the first place. Like, for 100 million, they should give you Aston Villa Football Club. Like, are you nuts?
Speaking about that price tag, Wasim, how much would you take if someone came in for Bruno? How much would you take?
Can't put that on him, bruh.
Yeah, I would say 100 million.
100 more.
Given how important he is to us and where we need to go as a club, if we want to become a top club, you got to keep your best players. So firstly, 100 million would also push clubs away or not make them as interested. But then also if we do get a serious club, then 100 million would aid us because then we could go and replace him with maybe 2 or 3 up-and-coming players who could potentially fill his void with time. So I would really say that it would be 100 million. Probably 80 million could also be fine, but I think 100 million would be fair, and because then as a club we can reinvest, and also it's a big void for us to fill because he was literally the player that ran the most in the Premier League. He covers so much ground. He embodies everything that we want as our club to be in terms of our playing style, the press, and all of that. So he is very, very important.
Fair dues. I mean, he's been a great player to watch as well. So, 100 million for me. If he was my player, 100 million minimum for me, like for real. Especially to see how important he is to the club. But
I mean, exactly. We were talking about Mount going for 67 million, whatever it was, and he did absolutely zero for them last season. Did nothing for them.
30 million of that is English tax. So
yeah, fair enough. But I think Brazilian tax we also need to charge now because they produce
Listen,
so
tax
many
is like 1%
players.
and a packet of energy is like what do you mean?
Yeah,
some dancing lessons or something.
Yeah, no, they've got so much talent, and so I think given his profile, I think you can't set the bar too low because it will be hurting ourselves.
Fair, fully fair. Nikita, do you have one for us?
I was thinking about like who the best transfers have been or potential transfers are, and I look kind of wider from the Premier League because I mean it's basically last season's stories regurgitated. And I actually think the signing of the season so far is Luka Modric. I think that is like getting him on another year is like quite a suave move from Real Madrid. Speaking from experience, like the reason Liverpool season kind of fell apart, in my opinion, at least at the end, there was lack of experience, just lack of composure throughout the team, and that's because we led our team, lost our core crux within kind of 2 seasons, and I think losing him and Kroos at the same time would have been catastrophic for Real Madrid. And I mean, I think they need a bit of catastrophic. Like, can we give some other people a chance? But yeah, I think that's actually so far signing of the season. Keep that stability in that core and just go win a 16th Champions League, I guess, or whatever it is they're gonna do.
Laziness, to be honest with you. I don't know how they keep doing it. I genuinely
Stupid.
thought that they weren't going to be able to this year, but they did somehow, some way. Just live up to the fire.
The people that should be most disappointed is Arsenal. I mean, for me, it was probably the easiest year to win the Champions League. If you think about it realistically, if you look at that final, like pots, like who was in pot 6, 7, and 8, those were like really, really weak teams. I mean, you didn't have a number of big Italian clubs, and I mean, we weren't in there. You had Newcastle in there instead of like a Spurs. Yeah, I think Arsenal should be very disappointed that they ended the season trophyless. They should be actually quite embarrassed. They should actually sack Arteta. That's actually what they should do. You heard it here first.
Look, you went.
He won a trophy.
Oh, that tangent just got worse and worse for me.
No,
I was wondering where it was going, and it just got deeper and deeper and deeper.
It wasn't a tangent, guys. It was a spear. Because Arsenal should be embarrassed about their performance of this season. People don't give them enough shit about it.
I will agree with Nikita, because in the sense that when I looked at the Champions League draw, and it was, I think, the quarterfinal stage where Man City played Real Madrid, you sort of knew, we know that tie wins the Champions League, and it's exactly how it worked out, because the other teams were just not of a high caliber or high enough caliber for the Champions League later on. So it was a very much an opportunity for a club like Arsenal, for example. They got Bayern, and this Bayern team couldn't even finish in the top 2 of the Bundesliga after winning it for 1,000 years in a row. So I think it's one of those things where she's being blunt, but she's actually spot on. It was not a very strong Champions League year in terms of the quality of the teams. It was only 2 or 3, and then from that it would be the winner. And so the fact that Dortmund, who were having Chelsea players on loan, Manchester United rejects on loan, and they made the final. Also, it does point.
They could have wrapped that final up in the first half if they actually
exactly, and the fact that they could have even won it exactly. So.
Yeah.
Should have been done after 45 minutes. It was actually crazy. But honestly, I mean, Arsenal had the fewest injuries out of any club. Days lost from injury in the Premier League. They went out of both trophies super early. I mean, I don't know why they resigned themselves. They think they can take City to the last day. It's so daft. But like, honestly, if they put all the efforts into the Champions League, they legitimately could have won it. I think they would have been good enough to give Real Madrid a go. But like, they really could have won it. It's really quite they should be exceptionally disappointed. Like, I don't know how they aren't all, on Arsenal fan TV berating the club right now, asking for Arteta out. I honestly can't believe it. I'm honestly shocked. I say that also to excite a little bit of, I don't know, something. But honestly, I truly believe that. They had the worst after like Burnley and Luton and Sheffield. They had the worst season out of all the Premier League clubs last year. They should be embarrassed. Like, honestly.
I think the first half of the season, I think like since the turn of the year, they were probably one of the best teams in the world, in my opinion. But up until the end of December,
do in the Champions League quarterfinals, but they're the best team in the world. They lost to Bayern Munich.
On form is what you mean.
On form. Like they looked like really good since the turn of the year. Yes, they lost to Bayern, but
they got knocked out of the FA Cup.
Who beat them?
Who did beat them?
Was it City?
Probably City. I think it was City.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll check.
But yeah, like the first half of the season, it really, like they started off okay, and then they dropped off around November time. What happened?
Liverpool knocked them out.
Okay, that makes more sense. Okay. Same thing though.
But yeah, then like since turn of the year, like they form in the Premier League. Okay, in the Premier League, let me put it like that. They form in the Premier League. Like
Save yourself,
it
yeah.
really wasn't bad. But yeah, like Jason, if you're hearing me now, I hope you're gonna take a bullet for me one day.
Nah, I don't know why you're falling on an Arsenal spear, bruh. That is wild. This is not a season of one half. Like it's 38 games. It's not a joke. Like I think like they just need to get real with themselves that they're never gonna give. It's never gonna happen for them. I'm sorry to say. I don't.
You
think
know
it
what, AF, I'll back you.
Sorry?
I'll back you on this one.
will. You a
I'll back
Spurs
you.
supporter. Your people are going to like burn you at the stake. And
They
you'll
must
deserve
come for me. I will
They-
burn all of them down. They must come for
It's
me.
gonna
They
be
wanna
like
leave.
Andrew's press conference. He's gonna be like, yeah, that's not how we
Yeah.
that's not how we built.
Exactly.
That's not the
Yeah.
mentality that I have.
That was well.
We
That
want
was
to
the
well.
win
manager.
games.
I'm with the manager on this one. They must come for me. I will destroy them.
Yeah, but
But,
then at the end of the game, you had Son just like laughing and having a giggle with Pip. So you never know.
yeah, you know, wherever Pip goes next, he wants to be part of that side. He wants to win some
Yeah.
trophies because let's face it, he's not going to win any by us. So
I don't think that Son can make himself Spanish at this point. So I don't think he's going anywhere where Pep is going.
that's fair. That's a fair statement. Also, in the beginning of that tangent, I just want to say quickly that you put Newcastle and Spurs. You said Spurs. You basically said that Spurs was supposed to take it would have been better for Spurs to take the spot than Newcastle having the spot. But
I mean, it would have been us, right? It would have been us.
Yeah,
Actually,
but I
it
mean,
wasn't
like, for
Spurs.
me-
It should have been us.
Yeah, that's fair. That's better because I feel like Spurs, Newcastle, same WhatsApp group really. In terms of how they play and how good they are, I feel like I feel like we get the top three, and then we get another three of Spurs, United, Newcastle, and then we get another three of whoever, Chelsea and the other people. But I don't know. I wouldn't go as far as to say Arteta out. I think they did have a good kind of, you know, I'll back everything you said, AF. I'll back you. I'll completely back you. Not for Jason, but for you. Just for you.
What
Man
does it
United
benefit
supporter who
me?
loves Arsenal.
It doesn't
I don't
benefit
know.
me at all.
I'm just going with it. Anyways, talking about Real Madrid, I want to talk about the left back position. I think they're also getting Nacho to stay as well, who I never really rated at centre back. I actually hated him, to be honest with you. I think he's not overshadowed. He's compensated by a lot of better players around him. But at left back, they currently have Mendy, and they want to sign Alphonso Davies, I think it is, which would be extremely interesting because I think they're kind of a very similar type of player, Mendy and Davies. I know Davies is a bit more attacking than Mendy is, but they both have similar kind of traits and skill, as kind of a skill set. Besides the fact that obviously Davies is a better attacker than Mendy is. They say that they want 50,000. I think Bayern want 50 million for him, which I think is super decent. But he's in his last year of his contract. So they said they don't really want to pay the 50 million because they'll just get him for free next year, which is
How old is he
slander,
next year?
really. That's a good question. I think he's still a decent age. I think he's still young. But I think
he's 23, eh? Wow.
There you go. That's super young still.
Feels
That's
like
crazy,
playing
actually.
forever.
Yeah, it does. I think he started playing when he was 19 or 18 or something like that. We saw him like on the beef
But
stage.
That transfer could have a domino effect because I read a report earlier. I can't remember. I think it was Ben Jacobs or one of those reporters that said that if that transfer happens to Real Madrid, then and funny you bring that up because the person that Bayern want to replace him with is Zinchenko from Arsenal. So then Zinchenko goes to Bayern, and then Arsenal needed left back. So there's all domino effect.
They already need a left back, so it doesn't really make much difference to them because Zinchenko is like really. So I think that would be good for them to send him out and get someone actually. Or bring Kieran Tierney back, for goodness sake. Gee whiz. I mean, shame. But yeah, I'm gonna quickly go on to this because we actually we're very far into the episode. So before we start with the Euros, I want to just kind of touch on the manager situation currently. And Bayern and company. Anybody see that coming? Anybody?
Burnley. I don't know
mean,
what they
Imagine
think.
Sean Dyche seeing Burnley get relegated and then Vincent Company goes to Bayern. Like,
After spending
what
100
do I
million.
mean? This happens to me every second year. What gives, guys?
maybe the
That's
Bayern
like
job
nuts.
isn't open for him. Shame.
I think
Wow.
I watched quite a lot of Burnley this season, and Company came across as a very good guy in terms of PR. He answers questions very well. He's got a very good image, and I think Bayern, on looking on the outside, probably thought, okay, he's got this team playing a nice brand of football. Probably, obviously, the results weren't going their way, but they were playing a nice brand, and I think his philosophy ties in with a lot of the young coaches. So they probably thought, look at Alonso, what he's doing. Look at some of the other managers who are doing well, and they're thinking, here's another young manager who could potentially get to that level if we sort of take a punt on him, given that they missed out on 8 other managers, so they were already low on their list. So I think he was there just because of how he was as a player, but also the image that he has, the profile that he has amongst the media or amongst the European football scene. So I think they were somehow just thought, let's take a punt. And I think it is that. It's just they're taking a chance and they're hoping it's going to work out. But given the fact that he made so many mistakes as a manager at Burnley last season, they played well in a lot of games, but because he was a bit naive in some of his decisions and stuff, it cost them. So, yeah, I think it's a bold move. I think he will become a good manager with time, given experience, but I think it's a move too early in his career.
Yeah,
To a
I
club
think
like
you.
That's a
Bayern.
very risky punt, though.
Yeah, it's a very
Yeah.
risky
Mm.
punt. But
But
given,
I
I
was-
think
risky punt.
they've changed managers in the last 3-4 years. I think they've had quite a lot of managers. So I think they like, if it doesn't work, we'll be in the same position we were a few
and
months
they can't
ago.
get. Yeah, they can't get any worse. They finished
Yeah,
fifth or
exactly.
something.
They're
So
probably hoping that if it doesn't work out by December, there'll be a few managers who's already been fired, and then take a pick from that. So yeah, I think it's just a case of he was on the list, and then they're like, okay, we don't have any other option but to actually go for him now.
I don't
yeah,
even think he was on the list. I think it was like someone picked up a newspaper and saw, oh, Vincent Company. They hired him.
Yeah. And maybe it's an
Burnley
agent.
already
Maybe it's an
did it.
agent saying, listen, my client is very interested. He was captain of Man City, won so many titles, captain of Belgium, and probably just talked him up and got him to get an interview, and then he did it from there.
Are we predicting them to do well next season with Bayern, or it's not winning something still? AF, I'll go to you.
I think you'll have a good cup run, and I don't think he wins the Bundesliga.
Okay, that's fair. Are we giving it back to Jabi Alonso?
So with the Xabi Alonso thing, I saw that he had a lot of demands for like wanting to stay at the club, meaning he gets to keep his staff, he gets to sign some more players that would like fit the style of football that, or the brand of football that he's been playing this past season. So I think he has the potential is there for him to win back to back. But also, I think keep an eye on Dortmund. Like, I definitely think that they're going to be back stronger next year. They're definitely going to bring in better transfers. I saw there are a couple of people leaving. Marco Reus left as well. That's a huge loss in terms of like leadership within the club. He's been there for eons and he knew the club inside out. So I definitely think that in terms of experience, they need to get some older players in just to like guide the youth, because they have a very young squad.
Yeah.
Just the
sure.
problem is they have Europa League next season, so that's always doesn't bode well for any clubs who aren't Spanish or Italian.
Thanks.
Wait, who was Europa League?
Dortmund.
No, they're in the Champions League.
Oh, did they get 5 spots?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Champions
they
League.
got 5
Arsenal
spots.
lost.
Oh, yeah.
Arsenal lost, and then they got
thanks, Arsenal. Damn you.
Arsenal.
See, it always comes back to Arsenal, like I said.
There you go. There you go.
See, everything, like I promise you, any problem in this world right now, we could blame on Arteta. Promise you. All comes
What
back.
about the problem at Chelsea? Let's just this is the last manager thing I want to get on to quickly. And this Enzo fella, I'm gonna call him Enzo fella. I'm sure you guys will call him by his full name, but
We
I
have
call him
Enzo
Enzo
on
fella.
the pitch and in the dugout at Chelsea, so
Yeah,
we're gonna have
we
to
gotta
separate him
differentiate.
somehow.
But this guy, I never heard of him before this. I'm not gonna lie. I did some research when after he came in and things like that. Now I actually even know the way that he plays, which is basically Pep Light. And I also kind of after doing research, kind of realized that I think Poch knew he was going halfway through the season. Once he started playing Cucurella as an inverted fullback, I think they told him, "Look, this is who we're trying to bring in. You're not lasting the season. Try and get him playing like this." And he kind of now inverted Cucurella into a fullback position. I mean, into that inverted position, and now the new manager's taking over, and now things are happening. Do we have a prediction, Nikita? I'll come to you next season. Chelsea with all their, I don't know, 8 and 10-year contracts. What are they going to be doing? How are they going to line up? What do you think is going to happen?
I mean, it's a bit disappointing because I actually think I didn't say this on the pod because I haven't been on for about 63 years, but I think Chelsea were probably, other than Villa, probably the best performing or most surprising team in the Premier League last season. So yeah, I think I feel pretty bad for Poch. Don't really care for him much, but yeah, I feel pretty bad that he got the buck, that he got the boot. So yeah, I can only see them finishing lower, probably bottom half of the table. I just think that club is probably on a spiral like United has been for the past kind of 13, 14 years. Honestly, I think they are well into the beginning of that tumultuous like situation. And this is what they always say, the kind of ethos starts at the top, because as much as you want to try and separate the club and the football, it always gets influenced, right? And yeah, I just think they are destined to fail. And it's not particularly disappointing because I think they were the initial sports washers and they kind of bred, like Manchester City deservedly gets a very bad rap. But they were the ones that started off this lunacy. And now they're kind of paying for it. And I'm very happy that it's kind of happened within almost like a 20-year cycle, giving away my age here. But yeah, they'll probably get, my prediction for them is 12th place and 3 managers this season. That's what I'm going for.
That's it.
Maybe one of them will be 8-year deal.
Yeah,
8-year deal. Give me my 8-year deal.
Riyaz, you mentioned earlier that they told Poch this is how we want to play, like try to get him playing like this. It's funny that you think that they think about that.
Oh, so this is like, okay, that you write up. Okay, this is much
They know
credit.
the first thing about inverted fullbacks. I don't think Todd Bowley's like, okay, make him go inside instead.
Yeah. Who is the kicker of the team?
Yeah.
Who is the linebacker of the team?
Well, Wasim, just your view quickly on Chelsea and how they're going to be next season.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I agree with Nikita because they're going to be in a position where new manager is going to take time to figure out what happened. Poch took half a season, and they actually played really well at the end of the season. But then now the new manager is going to come in. He's going to take half a season to figure out because he's got like 35 players to give a chance to, and he's going to figure out who's his best right back and best left back and so forth. So I think by December you'll already be under pressure, or if you're not gone already. And if he does well, I think it's still going to take time. So the other teams are then going to be far ahead of Chelsea by that point. So I think I can't see them finishing top 4. And because of that, I think they'll give him the boot and then they'll probably try and get someone else in. So I just think it's a cycle. Like Nikita says, it's a cycle. They are going to be under so much pressure to deliver because Poch got them a top 6 finish and that was deemed not good enough. So this guy's got to do even better to sort of vindicate why they chose him. So yeah, he's going to be under serious pressure. They're going to have 30 players that all want to play, and then they're going to have turmoil within the squad, and then yeah, That's going to lead
Yeah.
to no results on the field and then a sacking.
It's
Like
crazy
now
to think
today
that.
alone,
Yeah.
like today alone, it's Elise and Tosin Adebayo that's basically coming into the like as rivals into the club this week. You know that that's not going to be their only two signings this window. So where are they all going to play?
Yeah.
Are they entering two teams in the Premier League or something? What's happening?
Go on
Yeah, like
loan.
Olise is at right wing, and that is where Madueke ended the season. That's where Palmer played most of the season. So you
Yeah.
got three players in one position, all wanting to play, or all who feel they're
Yep.
good enough to play, and that's a
Yeah.
one position. What about the other positions? So yeah,
Yeah.
they're just causing problems for themselves by sacking a manager who actually had the squad under sort of control and
Yeah.
playing well.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
now a new manager has to figure it out.
honestly, for me, if Poch stayed, I would have backed him for top 4 next season. I would have,
Truly.
because he,
Exactly.
Me
he
too.
got them playing good football. I mean, out
Yeah.
of nowhere, they struggled for they were shocking for the first half of the season, but there was teething problems. And I mean, with a manager, any manager that's going to come in with that sort of squad depth that we're talking about, you have to try and figure out how to play with the team that you have. And now Poch just figured it out, and they sacked him, which is crazy.
Yeah, but what's
Um,
even crazy here is that they have FFP pressures and they sacked him and they had to pay him out.
Yeah.
So it just shows like it's just like something is malfunctioning at the top of Chelsea Football Club.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and as you said so well, like the top affects everything else. It's a rundown trickle down effect, and it's craziness. But we are running short of time, so we're gonna talk about the Euros quickly. I'm gonna take one team from each of you, one team to discuss with me, discuss with us. Just the squad. How's the squad looking? How you feel like the chances are going to be in this Euro 2024? AF, I'm going to start with you. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so I was going to speak about my team Spain, but I think I'll leave that one for next week, closer to the kickoff. But another team that I think could do well because of the squad that they have is Portugal. And that's not because it might be Cristiano Ronaldo's last ever FIFA tournament. I highly doubt he goes to any other tournament after this. And if you say that he is, then you are lying. No chance. But just like if you look at the team, like they have Diogo Costa in goal, who is a really, really good keeper. João Cancelo, Nuno Mendes, Ruben Diaz, Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes. They have Gonzalo Ramos up front as well. I I think like they're not really like big world class players, but in that vacuum, in that system that Portugal plays, that type of football, brand of football that Portugal plays, they all know what their duties are. They all know what they need to bring to the table, and I think that they could surprise a lot of people in like the sense that they could actually go all the way.
Honestly, I fully agree with you, but I don't think it's much of a surprise, to be honest. I think they have maybe the top two best squad. I don't know how to say that. My English is failing me miserably. They have one of the best squads in the whole of the tournament, without a doubt. I think them and France, the two of them have the two strongest squads.
I don't know, but like people always think of Portugal in the way that like yes, they have like I mean every single tournament for the past 20 years or whatever, they always have great squads. They always have amazing squads, but how often do they actually go all the way? There's a majority of the time there's so many egos in that squad that basically overshadows the type of football that they play. Whereas this time I don't think it's there. Like the main ego is going to be sitting on the bench.
You think so?
Yeah, gives the other players a chance to actually do what they need to do.
Oh, I think he's going to start every game.
No
He's starting
chance.
every game.
Absolutely no chance.
Yeah, I don't think it will because I was at the game when they won 6-1 against Switzerland at the World Cup, and that was the game where he was on the bench, and they really played well. And so I think they've figured out that him rather coming off the bench is better for the team because they can play their own brand of football the way they want to. The young talent can express themselves. So I think I agree. I think he will be on the bench. And if his experience is needed later in the game, he'll come on and try and change the game if needed.
How is Pepe still in that squad? He's
Yeah.
41 years old. Like, I mean,
Age is like a fine wine. Age is like a fine wine.
the only thing I can say is he looks exactly the same like he looked 15 years ago, and that's not a
Yeah,
compliment.
his technical ability just gets better with age, and by technical ability, I mean the ability to break people's legs every time he goes out.
I was gonna say what technical ability, but you got it spot on there. Nikita, your thoughts on Portugal?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to chat about England, and I think Portugal
Yeah,
have
I'm
a better
gonna ask
chance
you
than
about
England.
that. Okay.
Yeah, I reckon Portugal have a solid squad, and a couple of those guys have been humbled this season. I think all the Brunos are pretty humbled because they've had pretty shocking seasons. And then they've just got the right balance, I think, of Portuguese flair, solidness at the back, a demolition man in Pepe, and goals. I mean, they've got fantastic goal scorers. They just, I think they don't get as good a rep as like the Brazilians do in terms of finishing and pizzazz, but the Portuguese have it. I enjoy watching their football at least. So I think they'll go far. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing that the Portuguese team has that, and the French team, I guess, that kind of the other teams are struggling with a bit, or just the way that I see it is they have a just as good defensive line than they have attacking. So like the defense is as good as their attack, if not better, which is only going to stand them in good stead, I think. But Nikita, you said you were going to talk about England, so hit us with those England knowledge there.
I want to talk about England because I want to talk about how England is literally the arsenal of international grounds. They are bottlers and they will bottle it again. I love
What do you
this.
mean?
Like every 4 years we have this discussion. Oh, England are the best squad. I mean, how can they not win the Euros with Gerrard and Lampard and Rooney and Beckham? And then like 4 years later, you're having the same thing. There's no way they can't win it with Kane and Gerrard. Come on, guys. Like England are just like, they just have someone that's taken a blood curse and put it against the England team, and they will never win an international trophy again. Like
Probably
I saw
Yaya
the other day,
Toure.
someone said the other day that 1966 was the best year for English football, and it was because it was the year Gaza was born.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Nah, come on, Riyaz.
You said it was the Arsenal, so I had to
Southgate would be like sacking Ten Hag. You just like, you've got to love the guy. I mean, let's be honest, right? Let's have an honest conversation about Gareth Southgate. Everyone's biggest comments about Southgate has always been that he's selecting players that he likes. He selected Maguire, he selected Henderson, through thick and thin. And what has he done? He's made probably a super brave, but actually picked guys on form.
Yeah.
The only guy that I think that like probably should have made the squad was Harvey Elliott. That's left out of the preliminary squad. But I get it. Like he's picked the right squad. So as much as crap we can give him, and I would love to give him more crap because he's awful. I think he's made a bold decision. I still think they'll bottle it. I actually hope they get to the final and then they lose. Hopefully to Portugal or someone cool like France and just get decimated like Brazil did at home.
I don't know if you guys watched like the highlights of that warm-up game this week.
Bosnia and Herzegovina, eh?
Yeah. I think they won like 3-0 or something like that.
Yeah.
Did anybody see Adam Wharton when he came off the bench?
Who is Adam Wharton?
Very good.
From Brighton.
Yeah.
No, Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace, my bad.
Very good young player.
Wow. Like that guy's passing is insane.
Yeah. Very good.
But not the right time to change your squad, right? Really not the right time to change your squad. Sure. He's done I think what any reasonable person would have done, but it is nuts that he's now kind of been like, hi, Adam Wharton, and potentially looking at playing Trent Alexander-Arnold in the midfield. Like it's just kind of nuts. But yeah, bottlers.
Trent in the midfield, guys. Trent in the midfield.
Riyaz loves it. Don't. We don't have time for me to like completely flip out here. Okay, do not test.
Yeah, I don't see. I think the guy is one of the best right backs in the world, and then you say he's not good enough to play right back.
But you say he's not good enough to play right back. Yeah, like so do you drop him? It's like dropping Beckham.
I
No,
think
it's
It's like
not.
dropping Beckham.
No,
Honestly,
'cause-
Trent is at Beckham levels. Like honestly,
Oh.
in terms of passing and midfield, passing
Okay, I'll
capability,
accept that. I'll accept that. I'll accept
he
that.
is. So would you drop Beckham?
But they don't play in the same position. So, and there's better players in Trent's position than Trent.
At
So
right
yes,
back
I
or
would drop Trent
midfield?
at right back. At right back.
Who is
Kyle Walker.
Kyle Walker?
Kyle Walker is better than him, yeah.
But
Kyle
not
Walker is better than him.
I don't
Yeah.
like in terms of delivery and like I think defending like Kyle Walker has Trent on lock easy.
Yeah.
No, like there's no way anybody can disagree with that. But
Yeah.
in terms of passing, Kyle Walker's left in the mud. In terms of
Yeah.
crossing, in terms of final delivery, like Trent
Overall
obviously,
play.
just excels so much better. But I think if Southgate's looking to contain goals and to make sure that like the defense is as solid as possible, Kyle Walker started right back, in my opinion.
Why? Maguire can start.
What?
He's definitely gonna start. Wasim, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I just think like with Southgate he's always been a cautious manager, and England have had good squads, but then he'd be cautious, he'd sit back, and then he invites pressure, like the chance they had at Wembley in a final. They took the lead after 2 minutes, had a brilliant start to the game, and then all of a sudden he was like, "Guys, let's sit back, let's protect our lead, and Italy gained momentum, and then they lost that final at home when they should have won a trophy. So I think his approach is going to cost him, and when it matters most, his cautious nature. I like that he's actually picked players on form this tournament, which has gone against what he's done in the past. But I think because of his style, he's gonna when the time comes, it's gonna be very difficult for him to go against his normal principles, and then they're gonna lose. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a tournament where England have a great squad, but France and Portugal on their day could still beat them. So yeah, it's gonna be.
You guys are forgetting that, like you're saying that he's picking people in form. Luke Shaw hasn't played a game, I think, all year.
But I think, he's
Yet he's
in the
still there.
preliminary squad, yeah, and
a
he's got a
balance.
backup, yeah. I think he's got a balance also because he's got players who he knows he can play at left back if Shaw is not available. Like
Yeah, but like
he'll play Trippier, for example, at left back because he knows he can trust Trippier. So that's why he's giving Luke Shaw a chance to prove his fitness before the tournament.
But I always just feel like that's a slap in the face of somebody like Tariq Mitchell, who's been superb for Crystal Palace over the last 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
So,
but it's like he is with Luke Shaw, like Chelsea supporters are with Reece James. When he's fit, he is England's best left back, and like Reece James is the world's best right back when he's fit, apparently.
Would you play Reece James over Kyle Walker? Is a question that I have.
No,
absolutely not. I would breathe on that guy and we get injured. Like absolutely not.
I would personally play Walker. If Walker's not fit, then maybe Trent. Trent's not fit, then Trippier, and then if Trippier's not fit, potentially Reece James. But I think Konsa could even play right back. So
that's if Konsa makes the final squad.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like Reece James is really fit. So why should he automatically come into the squad? Because he has.
And Trippier is, to your point, Trippier is actually probably the best of both of Trent and Walker. I'm not saying I would start him ahead of Walker, but he really does have. I think when he or you guys as Newcastle supporters reflect on his career, he actually had an incredible career. Honestly, I think he's probably like one of those guys that you think back on and he overperformed throughout his career. He's really had a good one. He's a great player.
I actually think he's going to start for England at left back. I actually think that they'll start him.
I was saying if Shaw doesn't prove himself, then Trippier will play left back.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why he's picked Trent in the squad as well, so he can play him either midfield or, if needed, he can cover the fullback role. So
the other problem with that is you can't. There's no place for Trent in the midfield either. Like you have Declan, you have Jude, you have Gallagher. Those three you have to play. Then you have Maddison.
I don't think Gallagher's an automatic starter.
Yeah, he has to be because he's the Henderson replacement. He's the best cover for Henderson.
I think Declan is a better deeper line player than
He
Gallagher.
is, but
Like I said, I rate him, but I don't think you need Gallagher and Declan Rice
Declan, okay.
in that midfield. My personal opinion. But to your point, I don't think Trent Alexander-Arnold is a midfielder. I've never seen him play in midfield. I've seen him play as an inverted right back, but
Which
I've
is
never seen
technically
him play.
worse.
I think he gets a summer off. I hope he gets a summer off, honestly.
Fair. Wasim, you have a team for us quickly.
Yeah, I was going to talk about Switzerland. The team who got hammered in that match I was talking about, they lost 6-1. But with Switzerland, the thing is they've always had what many people described as their golden generation in the last few years, but they never really achieved anything. Never got to a semi-final. Never did well. But on their day, they're still capable. I think, if I remember correctly, Switzerland knocked out France. Was it one of the Euros or was it the World Cup? A few years ago, I think what 2018 World Cup or something of that
World
sort.
Cup. I think it was a World Cup, but
Was
it was
it?
something
Yeah,
like that.
Was
yeah,
it a
and
semi?
it was a
2018,
quarterfinal, I think. Yeah,
Quarter, yeah.
so
one in Russia.
and yes, and that was
Mm.
cool. Many people were like, "Wow, what happened to France? It was such a star-studded team." Um, no, didn't France win the World Cup that year? But anyways,
yeah.
it was a Euros or
It's a
something
big
of that
team.
They
sort.
beat Croatia. They beat
Yeah.
Croatia, I remember. Yeah.
Something like
I think
that.
it was in the World Cup.
So Switzerland are quite a good team in terms of they've got individuals. Xhaka, who did well with Bayer Leverkusen. Fabian Shaw, who's a great player for Newcastle. Akanji, who's been Man City's most reliable centre back. So they've got players individually, if you just look at their squad, that can do well. So I've chosen them, given that they're in a group with the hosts, Germany, and then they've got Scotland and Hungary. I think two teams who they can definitely beat. So then they could then go through to the knockouts, and then it's anyone's game. So I think I've chosen Switzerland. I think they've got a good team. The coach is also, a former player, so he knows the ethos and what is needed to represent the country. So I think watch out for Switzerland. They could be a dark horse in this tournament. I think many people have said that over the years, and they haven't done well. But I think, given that the spotlight's probably not on Switzerland this year, just watch out for them. I think they'll be a good team to put
Shaqiri
some.
still playing there?
I think
Yeah.
I think
so.
he is
Yeah,
part of the squad.
he made the
Did he
squad,
make
yeah.
the squad?
And he
Okay.
plays in MLS
Exactly.
now, but he
So
Yeah,
they've-
yeah. I know he plays
So
for
they've got that
Chicago.
experience. Yeah, they've got that experience still within the squad. So just don't underestimate them, because there are other teams who've got young, exciting players, but the pressure of a big tournament, and it could be just something that Switzerland show the world that they're actually a very good team.
I think they also have a lot of guys who are in the squad who play in the Swiss league, and I think that also helps. It's the same like Portugal. They've got like quite a few stars, but like a lot of guys come from the Portuguese league. So for me, those teams just generally look more coherent. Like, I mean, if you watch England, they just look like they played together the last 2 weeks, and that's it. It always looks like individuals coming together as a team rather than a team, with a few outstanding individuals. That's actually a cool call. I will definitely watch Switzerland. I like Switzerland.
They are like Wasim said, they're dark horses, and we expect not expect, but we don't expect much from them. Especially this time around, we haven't had a spotlight. Like sometimes in the past, because of the big names like Shaqiri when he played for Liverpool and Xhaka at Arsenal and things like that, there was kind of a spotlight on them. But now I think that without the kind of expectation, I think they will really kind of do well at the end of the day. AF, your thoughts?
I'm always an advocate for an underdog or a dark horse team. So yeah, I'll definitely be watching them, and just let Granit Xhaka carry on this run of his. Like, give him everything. Like, the guy deserves all the medals right now. So
Yeah,
I
another reason
want
for
him to have a
Arteta
good
out.
run in an international tournament as well.
They didn't win the Europa thing, man. I was very upset by that. I wanted them to go. I wanted them to go invincibles all the way through till the end, all the way through, just because I like history for the years,
But wait, Riyaz, who do you have for us? Which team do you think will end up doing well at the Euros?
Okay. I'll go with Germany. I'll go with the host just because they are. It's interesting that, let's say, if we look at the leagues, right? You play a home game and you play an away game, and the home games you expected to win, and every game that they're going to play is a home game if you think about it. So I think that's a massive advantage.
Why did this not apply when South Africa hosted the World Cup?
Because South Africa, well, it did. We almost made it to the round of 16, guys. Come on,
we beat France.
Like, yeah, there you go. We did
that
so well.
France
Think
team
of
was
what
in
he
shambles,
said.
We
though.
drew.
Think
Didn't
of
we
what
draw
he
with
said.
France?
No, we
We
beat
beat
France.
France.
2-1.
No, man.
We
We
drew to
beat
Uruguay.
France, but
Win
we
the game
needed
in that
to
World
beat.
Cup.
Yes, we beat France. We drew with Mexico, but we needed to beat France by I think 2 goals or 3 goals,
Yeah,
and then we
and
only
then we
won
lost to Uruguay,
2-1.
I think.
Yeah, losing to Uruguay was the big factor because our goal difference took a massive knock.
And I mean, if we're really thinking about it, we're comparing apples and oranges here. This is Germany and South Africa.
Very true.
Very true. I see no difference.
I think the issue with Germany, they've like we stated previously, Dortmund have done very well this year's competition. We didn't expect them to get that far, and because of that, people like Schlotterbeck is a good watch for Germany this season. I think Leverkusen, that Ritz fellow, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's been that fellow. He's been great this season as well. And then I mean, they're going to have. The only issue is, I think personally, is the defense. It's a bit light. They have Rudiger and Schlotterbeck, of course, but I think after that it becomes a bit. They didn't take Hummels. He's not taking Hummels.
So weird. So weird, man.
Super
but he's got Tar's also solid.
Yeah, true. And then in the front as well, I think I alluded to this just before we started recording, is that the striking options is a bit lacking. They have Nicholas Füllkrug, but other than that, he's a working man striker, I guess, if you could call him Füllkrug. He's not really a creative striker. So I think that's the two places where they might struggle.
I have it.
Yeah, but he's also
Please, just stop.
He's also the working man striker. I fully agree with you, AF.
Yeah, I don't rate Davids.
Okay, it's 2 against 2 here on this but
he's gonna make everybody eat humble pie even more.
Even more. Let's for humble pie actually. So
that Puma deal just like opened everybody's eyes up, and he just started banging all the goals. Just watch what's gonna happen some more.
Well, there's all these goals. Like, guys,
I can't back you on that one, but
I don't need anybody to back me. I believe in him.
What do you mean?
Why don't you guys buy Havertz? Yeah, you guys should buy Havertz.
I don't think Arsenal want to sell him.
I'd take him. I'll be honest.
You guys have very low bars.
Yeah. Well, you can see we have low bars. I mean, come on. But yeah, I think Germany has the kind of chances to go really far in this competition. I think the semi-finals at the very least, where they should come up against, I think it's Portugal, if I'm not mistaken, but it might pick them correctly. I think in the semi-final, I think they'll come up against Portugal, and that might be a bridge too far. But
you also,
I think
you're also forgetting about Toni Kroos's farewell to football. That will be his last ever match. And
is his sixth Champions League or fifth Champions League not enough? Like, guys, like how greedy can someone be?
He wants to end on a higher high.
He also has a World Cup. Like, why does he want more stuff? Come on now.
I suppose, you know what? I mean, I would back Vinicius. I find it irrelevant to say the junior because I don't know any other Viniciuses for the Ballon d'Or. Yeah, come on. It's like Adele. Do we need a surname? But like, I back him for the Ballon d'Or. But if Kroos were to win the Euros, it would be hard to not give it to him, right?
Yeah.
Fully agreed. And that is why I either want Germany or England to win at the Euros, so that we can either give it to Bellingham or Kroos, and we can take Vinicius out of the conversation because he makes me angry.
They will win the Copa America.
Yeah, but
I have no doubt about it.
Euros light, isn't it? Like it hardly counts.
Whoa.
I'm not sure.
That was the biggest shot than Arteta out, I think.
I'm trying to downplay Vinicius Junior. Nothing against Copa America. Let me just put that out there. I just don't like Vinicius Junior. I mean
What
Vinicius.
did you say? You hate Copa America? What?
That's what I heard. That's what I heard. Yo, it's fighting words, eh?
You know what? Let's just go back here, and I'm not going to say much more. Anyways, yeah. So that's been the episode. It's been a long episode. I kind of just let us rip and say, talk and have conversation, which was great. Yeah, I feel like we all think that kind of four teams are going to do really well in the Euros. I guess France, England, Portugal, and what was the other one? Germany. I don't know.
Switzerland or Germany.
Or Germany, I guess. But it's going to be interesting to watch nonetheless, and so is the transfer market as well. But yeah, that's the end of our episode, guys. Where can we find you, AF? I'll start with you on socials. Please plug yourself right now.
Yeah, I do it every week, so might as well just do it another week. AF Parker 642 on every social media platform. Makes Riyaz happy for some reason that I have the same handle everywhere.
That's so cool.
But
Really?
yeah, that's me on every social media platform, chatting comics, TV series, movies, sports. Yeah. Come chat.
Nikita?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Nikita, 3 underscores and a K. And I mean, only follow me if you want to hear more about us. I mean, Arteta out, really. Actually, soon I'll probably be on Arsenal Fan TV. So, yay me.
That would be really interesting. I would watch that. I would love to watch that, to be honest with you.
I might get shanked.
Wasim, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, on Twitter. I haven't been on for 2 hours. I need to get cracking. But yeah, that's my addiction on the socials. I don't really enjoy the other socials, but Twitter, I need to be on all the time. So catch me on Wasim Ibrahim.
And the football channel, plug that also, please.
All things football ZA. We're hoping to get a couple of episodes, especially for the Euros. So yeah, look out for that.
And Wasim says he likes Twitter, and that's the only thing that he likes. That's one more than me. So I don't really get on socials much, but you can get me at Parker_Riyaz on Twitter, on Instagram, Riyaz Parker7, I think it is. And please follow the channel Sportycast on everything. Follow Sportycast on Instagram, on Twitter, on everywhere. And like, share, and subscribe this video. And also kind of comment as well down below on who you think is going to win the Euros. Who do you think? And also, give us some transfer gossip as well, because we can never get enough of that. We don't want to hear from Propizio anymore. We really don't. I unfollowed him on Twitter.
Tap merchant.
Yeah. On the platform you never go onto. Good call.
Yeah, I might as well. That's going to make a difference to what I see, which is nothing. But yeah, follow the channel, guys, please, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.